1 week before the raid, and we are talking about hacking in general and how good and open we are, etc. We get raided 1 week later. We don't have any charges against us. We don't have any real accusations. We have lots and lots of slander from the police and attorney's office, where they're accusing us of different things. I'll come back to that. Next slide. The police seized a lot of stuff from us, and this includes computers, key-cutting machines, etc., a lot of stuff, and we're asking to have them back. So what they're saying is, when they came to the hackerspace, they realized as they came there that there must be some kind of intrusion going on, right? And I mean, yeah, there was an intrusion. Cops were there and all, and also they're saying or implying that we will only return your computers if you give up the crypto key. I'm not going to go into details about that for your specific computers. Okay, so the slander. Sweden has a history of, during all computer-related seizes, there's always slander involved. You remember the Pirate Bay, when they accused the Pirate Bay guys for hosting child porn sites? There was one guy from my city, his name's Don, and he hosted a Tor node, and he exposed that traffic is going through the Tor node, and when he sniffed it and published it, he got a raid, and after this raid, he got accused for fencing. Fencing means to sell and buy things that are stolen, because he had 7 video games. And they didn't mention, though, in the papers afterward, that the guy owned a video game store. And by Swedish history, this is 1984, there was a hacker group in Sweden called the SHA, the Swedish Hackers Association, where this guy, Stefan Kronqvist, he's just a newly graduated cop, and he says, the youngsters like so-called hackers have created their own ethics and rules where you must break every possible rule. And he's like going on and on about hackers being really mean and stuff. And this guy is now the head of IT police, and I'll come back to him as well. In this slide, this is the ambassadors that I've encountered from the people in power, so to say. So far, Stefan Kronqvist is the head of IT police, and he makes statements like this constantly. He also was the one who said that the Pirate Bay is about the child porn, mostly. And Jim Kaiser is another one that he appointed because he's a specialist in copyright laws and copyright, and he is also employed by Sony BMG at the same time while being a cop. And then we have the Anti-Piracy Agency, which is not a governmental agency, just a detail, and they are running their own sort of corporate trials against people and charging into people's homes and stealing CDs, etc. And this makes people really upset. So the mood set here is that hackers are really upset and the authorities are really upset in their corner, right? So the reason why this splits so much is because I think this is the same all over the world. It's not about Sweden. Police have one thing in common and one thing difference between hackers. The thing in common is no one of them are motivated by money. Police actually believes, I think, that they're doing this, what they're doing, and they're doing it because it's the law and because it's right. And the hackers, they believe that you have to try every single option before you know what's right. In many cases, I'm not implying that everyone is trying everything, but that's the way of working for the hacker. And this creates desperation from the police sides because you get more and more hackers or actually reported crimes committed, such as copyright infringement. And this creates increased resources for surveillance, which creates desperations amongst the hackers, which tend to go underground. And it's an increased conflict between the two parties. So the outcome of this is, in Sweden we have a quite big party called the Pirate Party, which only purpose is to protect innovative people, basically, and to protect all the people from these kind of laws and from this downgoing spiral I just explained. We have ISPs who actually don't cooperate with police, and in most cases they refuse to give out information to police. And why is that? This is not the case in the 90s. If you go back in time, this is not the case, right? And the hackers are going underground. All right, so what do I want? I do not want to be a martyr. I don't want to be an icon or anything. I want to explore and hack, right? So how do I get through with this? First of all, when I start, or when you guys start a new project, think of what's your expectation from the reaction from others? what's your wish? What do you wish that people would? How do you wish that they would react? If they don't match, you're probably surprised, and you should document this on some public place. If you're disappointed, then you should start acting and making something, like going to CCC and have a talk about it, right? And I don't know how much time I have left, but I'll just finish this off by saying, so you all know the statement of our crime is out of curiosity, and curiosity is a big threat to those who refuses to change. And that's the reason why a lot of new projects coming up, especially in a cold country like Sweden, get their eyes or their attention on by the big brother. And I think it's important to be aware that this is the reason, and this is the schism that we have. And I want you to contact me on my DEC number or email or in face-to-face after this talk to talk about the situation. I can explain a lot about what's happening, etc. Thank you.
So, tack så mycket, Christoph, for telling us the situation in Sweden. The next talk will be about the Free Fermentology Foundation, and the keywords are fermentation, do-it-yourself, biotech, and kombucha. Lecker.
Hello everyone, I'm Vincent Gross, I'm from Paris. I'm here to introduce you the Free Fermentology Foundation. Yeah, so let's start right away. So, how many people here do know about the Milbenkäse? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, not that many. Well, still quite a lot. Well, Milbenkäse, so yeah, cheese fermented with the digestive juice of cheese mites. For those of you who know, most of the time cheese is done with yeast or products coming directly from the digestive system of the animals or other living organisms. But actually, yes. What?
Don't tell us.
Come on, it's natural. So anyway, this cheese particularly is done with little insects living on the crust of the cheese. And it was only prepared in a small town, Würschwitz, south of Saxon-Anhalt. And it's a tradition that went back to the Middle Ages and was nearly lost in 1970, when only one old woman knew how to make this kind of cheese. And then we had 2 professors that grabbed some interest in the subject and perpetuated the tradition, and now the Milbenkäse production is flourishing. But we have the same kind of problem all around the world of fermentation tradition and the verge of disappearing, or unknown. Well, there are many fermentation traditions that you know: sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, kefir, natto. I think most of you know about kombucha. Kimchi is a traditional biotech from Korea, natto from Japan, kefir from the Middle East. And all those are processes that are very subtle. You cannot just recreate them from the ground. You have to have the existing bacteria and yeast and symbiosis. And once it has disappeared, very little hope to bring it back. And they are on the verge of extinction because, well, overbearing hygienic norm inside the European Union, and the USA, well, almost every Western country. Big agro-businesses like Danone or Kraft Foods, well, it's not something that's easily reproducible, so they got no interest with that. And for the layman, for your grandma, well, not maybe your grandma, because, let's say your former history teacher. The biotech is, it's a scary thing. Well, I don't know, how many pipes or devices, but, this is way too complicated. When in fact it's really simple. You just lay it and wait.